Another day, another story. The Power of Stoicism, embracing acceptance and indifference. In ancient Cyprus, 300 years before Jesus Christ, there lived a wealthy merchant named Zenon. He lost all his wealth when a violent storm sank his ship and cargo. This tragic act of nature destroyed a lifetime of hard work in an instant. Put yourself in Zenon's shoes. How would you react to the sudden loss of the fruits of years of labor, swept away by a ruthless force of nature? What is the right reaction? Anger? Sadness? Would you feel cheated by life? For many, these reactions would be natural. But not for Zenon, the founder of Stoicism. A slight adjustment can have an eternal impact, and a small change in your mentality can lead to major transformations. At the heart of Stoicism lies the essence of acceptance and indifference. Inspired by Socrates and other eminent thinkers, Zenon forged and propagated the principles of Stoicism. According to Zenon, despite our lack of control over external events, we have power over our reactions, and it is imperative to exercise this control wisely. Instead of crying over spilled milk, or in this case, drowned goods, Zenon kept his cool, remaining calm and neutral despite his difficult situation. Nowadays, Stoics are often perceived, perhaps wrongly, as unshakable individuals who avoid emotional extremes such as anger outbursts or anxiety attacks. But original Stoicism was much richer. Beyond a term to describe impassive individuals, it is a way of seeing, apprehending, and understanding the world, a way of life that has spanned centuries. Stoicism can be applied today just as it was thousands of years ago, and its benefits are just as significant. Stoicism guides us in transforming negative emotions generated by difficult experiences into reflections that offer a unique perspective on the world. Perspective is crucial. Each individual, with their distinct experiences, nurtures a unique vision of things. As Stoics gathered, discussed, and taught in public, their general philosophy was widely known. They believed that Stoic principles could benefit everyone, and it was therefore illogical for them to hide in a school or palace courtyard. From slave to emperor, everyone could embrace and excel in Stoicism. And many did. Stoic figures include Epictetus, once a slave whose name means acquired, Seneca, a prominent statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor counted among the most influential individuals in human history. The original Stoics lived by their tenets, rejecting all discrimination and fighting inequality. They coined the term cosmopolitan, synonymous with citizen of the world. Today, this term evokes cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London. It is this type of unity and solidarity that the Stoics preached, even encouraging Stoic education for women in resistant times. What motivates so many people to embrace Stoicism as a philosophy of life? In an unpredictable world, our emotions can often disrupt the flow of events. Our sadness comes more from unexpected misfortunes than from the misfortunes themselves. Rain nurtures our environment, promoting the blooming of plants and refreshing the climate. Yet, being caught in a downpour without an umbrella is rarely pleasant. But why don't we sink into despair with every rain shower? Because we anticipate this possibility, aware of its inevitability. We know that we cannot dominate the weather. And rain always gives way to a renewed brightness. Stoicism guides us to anticipate the worst possible outcomes, finding peace and accepting their eventual occurrence. One of the key Stoic exercises, voluntary discomfort, aims to cultivate gratitude. Sleep on the floor of your kitchen, take cold showers, eat nothing but potatoes for a few days. This practice helps realize that despite adversity, you can not only survive but also thrive with the right mindset. It also forges mental resilience, preparing us for future potential misfortunes. In an age where advertisements constantly bombard us, suggesting that true happiness can only be achieved through material possessions or social status, this message becomes crucial. We are thrust into life with limited knowledge. We grow up learning things at home, at school, and by observing the world. The fact is, often these three sources of knowledge teach us different things. The question is, do we need to internalize all this knowledge? If so, we may have unrealistic expectations for our lives, ultimately leading to disappointment and dissatisfaction. That is not a way to live. We should instead strive to improve ourselves, for ourselves. We must act for ourselves and nothing else. Attaching external expectations or secondary attachments to our actions often leads to disappointment. Sometimes we try to fill this void with external things, like buying a luxury car, a big house, or even starting a family. Sometimes, we accomplish these things for their external appearance rather than their true value. But Stoicism warns against entrusting our happiness to external forces, which are always prone to fail. Cars break down, natural disasters destroy cities, and divorces are on the rise. But even the simple pleasures in life come at a cost, whether physical or mental. According to Seneca, living with less frees up space for what truly matters in your life. We should base our happiness on our intrinsic value as human beings, not on what we possess or acquire. We should strive to remain serene, no matter the circumstances life presents us with. Because ultimately, while we have no control over the majority of events that happen to us, we have complete control over our reaction to them. This is the dichotomy of control, the most important principle of Stoicism. Stoics advocate for a clear distinction between what is within our control and what is not. We should base our value on what we can control, not on what is beyond our control. Setting goals is positive, but collapsing when they fail is, according to the Stoics, futile. Making YouTube videos is easier than ruling as a Roman emperor, but it presents challenges. It takes an idea, which can be time-consuming. Then, it requires research, sometimes scrapping everything and starting over, writing the video script, creating the video, editing it, creating the title, thumbnail, and everything else before clicking upload. Before clicking the upload button, everything is under your control. Afterward, it's YouTube's algorithm that takes over. Yet, many people judge the success of their YouTube channel or Instagram account based on the number of views and subscribers, parameters that, for the most part, are beyond their control. Stoics advocate for measuring success by effort and invested work, not by desired results. Trust the process. Think of someone who has worked hard over the past 6 months. Feeling deserving of a promotion, they approach their boss with their performance report. The boss thanks them but does not grant the promotion, and they go home thinking they must be terrible at their job. They do not consider that the boss might have just woken up in a bad mood, that someone else might have been more qualified at that time, or that the company might have simply lost money and couldn't afford it. They do not know the reason, but they are still upset. If they had simply valued the quality of the performance report they submitted, if they had continued doing what they were doing to earn the promotion they wanted, they could have been happier. With the right perspective, their goal is not diminished, but simply deferred. This mindset adjustment is crucial. A true Stoic does not measure their success by profits but rejoices in living comfortably without the luxuries money offers. The 4 main virtues of Stoicism are wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom is distinguishing between what is internal and what is external and choosing our reaction to things that happen to us. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space, lies our power to choose our response. Courage. 2 words. Persist and resist. Temperance or moderation is what I just demonstrated, doing more with less, saying more with fewer words. While Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk battle at the top of the Forbes list, Stoics believe that wealth should be limited to the essentials, followed by what is sufficient. Justice is the most important of all virtues. It teaches that no one should harm others, for we are all born for one another, to do good to one another, not harm. Nelson Mandela was one of the world's most famous African leaders. As he fought against apartheid, he was sentenced to life imprisonment, where he remained for 27 years before being released. When he was released, he was elected president of South Africa, and many people thought he would brutally punish everyone connected to apartheid or his imprisonment, but of course, he did not. Throughout his detention, Mandela read the works of Marcus Aurelius and learned many core values of Stoicism, which he practiced throughout his life. Nelson Mandela advocated for reconciliation instead of revenge. He emphasized that the past was out of their control, encouraging them to build a better nation for the future. That is the path of the Stoic. In medicine, Stoicism is at the heart of rational emotive behavior therapy and logotherapy. This therapy helps patients identify negative thought patterns related to emotional and behavioral issues. It encourages questioning the logical foundation of negative thoughts, allowing them to be replaced with healthier, constructive beliefs once it becomes evident that they are unfounded. Logotherapy is based on the Stoic principle of an intrinsic purpose in every human being, even in difficult times. However, this is easier said than done. It is a process like any other. It requires redefining our thinking, eliminating the old to embrace the new. To address the problems of happiness, we must practice self-esteem. By redefining our value around the elements under our control rather than those that are not, we can lead a happier and more fulfilling life. Stoicism guides us through past and present storms to navigate towards calmer waters. Even if our boat sinks and we all perish, we can find satisfaction in a life well lived, regardless of its duration. 4. Remember, everything has meaning.